welcome to KPSR's UPSC Universe. I'm Sowjanya, Faculty of Current Affairs, and in this video, we're going to discuss one important article from the Hindu today. So the article that we're going to discuss today is Supreme Court to take up pleas against dilution of Article 370 on July 11th. So this article is about our Constitution Article 370. So we'll discuss about the details of this article in this particular video. So here, first of all, why is it in news? A constitution bench led by Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, it will take up on July 11th a series of petitions challenging the dilution of Article 370 of the Constitution, which deprived Jammu and Kashmir of its special privileges, and it led to the bifurcation of the then state in 2019. So this is why it is in news today. So first of all, we have to go through the background of Article 370. We have to know the details of Article 370, the background of introduction of Article 370 and its dilution back in 2019. So here the year is also important. It is 2019 and the article number, and then this deprived Jammu and Kashmir of its special privileges. So we'll discuss about the special privileges that were given according to this Article 370 to Jammu and Kashmir, and then it led to the bifurcation of the then state of Jammu and Kashmir into Union Territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. So coming to the UPSC syllabus relevance for prelims and mains, for prelims it comes under Indian Polity and Governance Constitution, and for mains it comes under General Studies 2, Indian Constitution, Historical Underpinnings, Evolution, Features, Amendments, Significant Provisions and Basic Structure. So it comes under our GS2 of mains and Indian Polity and Governance of prelims. And coming to the important concepts in this particular article today, we have Article 370, Article 35A, and we'll also discuss in brief about the abrogation or dilution of this Article 370. So before that, we'll look at some previous year questions for prelims and mains so that you'll get to know how questions can be framed on this particular topic. So consider the following statements regarding Article 370. So since the entire article is about Article 370, we're having a question on Article 370. So consider these statements. The first statement says that Article 370 of Indian Constitution, it was enacted on October 17, 1949 as a temporary clause. And a presidential order of February 2020, it took away the special status under Article 370 of Jammu and Kashmir. So you have to identify the correct statements over here. So the correct statement is A. So only first statement is correct because the instrument of accession which Maharaja Hari Singh, who is the former monarch of Jammu and Kashmir, it was signed in 1947. So this instrument of accession, this was signed back in the year 1947. So after the signing of this, it gave rise to Article 370. So Jammu and Kashmir, it was exempted from the Indian Constitution by Article 370 of Indian Constitution, and this was enacted on October 17, 1949 as a temporary clause, right? So this particular exemption that was given to Jammu and Kashmir, irrespective of other states, Jammu and Kashmir was given a particular exemption from the Constitution, and this was done by Article 370 of the Constitution, and this was given on October 17, 1947 as a temporary clause. So according to this temporary clause, it allows the state to create its own constitution and it restricts the legislative authority of Indian Parliament in the territory. And a presidential order of August 5th, 2019, not 2020, so of 2019, it took away special status under Article 370 of Jammu and Kashmir. So this is our prelims practice question. And coming to mains PYQ exercise. So already a question has been asked in mains of UPSC in the year 2016 regarding Article 370. So as we have discussed, this particular presidential order, it was given in the year 2019. So prior to this, before this particular decision was taken by the government, in 2016 itself, there was a question on Article 370. So to what extent in Article 370 of Indian Constitution bearing marginal note, that is temporary provision with respect to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, temporary, and discuss the future prospects of this provision in the context of Indian polity. Because in the year 2016, At that time, this particular decision was not yet taken by the government. So that is why regarding the future prospects of this particular provision, question was asked in mains. But in 2019, this was already done. So we are not going to discuss about this. Have to write an answer for this future prospects, because at that time it was still uncertain. But right now we are in 2023 and this is not relevant for us right now. Right. So as per the previous year question, you have to know how questions can be framed. And coming to the mains practice question, elaborate the impact of dilution of this Article 370 on Jammu and Kashmir and bring about the background of Article 370. So what would be the impact of Article 370? Before that, before going into the impact of the dilution, first of all we have to know what is Article 370. So we'll first of all discuss about the Article 370 and we'll get back to the impact of dilution of this. So coming to the detailed explanation of important concepts in today's article, first we have Article 335A. So according to this, permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir, they were given exceptional privileges and rights under Article 35A. Right. So whoever are permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir, they were given some special privileges like ability to purchase a property there, preference in hiring for positions in public sector and other benefits. So if anyone wants to buy a particular property in Jammu and Kashmir, only permanent residents could do so according to Article 35A. So this is prior to the 2019 decision. So in this way, some special privileges were provided to the permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir. And according to this article, only citizens of Jammu and Kashmir who dwell there year round, that means those who stay in Jammu and Kashmir for 365 days, right? That means the permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir, for them some special privileges were provided. Only they were eligible to purchase real estate there and also to cast ballots in local elections. So you have to remember what were the special provisions that were provided to the permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir. But this 35A article, this was repealed by Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act of 2019. Right. So do remember this Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act of 2019. So the year is important. So the central government, it no longer requires permission from the state government to implement laws on Article 370 because it was abrogated or diluted. Right. So once this particular act was brought about, then this 35A article, it lost all its effects. That means whatever special provisions and privileges were given to the local residents of Jammu and Kashmir, these were removed by this particular 2019 order. Right. So there won't be any distinction between permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir and the residents of other states of our country. So till now what happened, if we want to buy, we as residents, permanent residents of our state, if you want to buy a property in Jammu and Kashmir, you could not do so because there was Article 35A. Only permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir could do so. But now after this decision or the presidential order of 2019, we can also go and buy a property in Jammu and Kashmir, right? And coming to Article 370, this is a presidential order that was given on August 5th, 2019, and this took away the special status of Article 370 of Jammu and Kashmir. As we know, this particular article, it has provided some special rights and special privileges to the people of Jammu and Kashmir since 1954 in accordance with the Instrument of Accession. And this special status, this was bestowed on Jammu and Kashmir by incorporating Article 35A in the Constitution, and we have already discussed about Article 35A. So this Article 35A, this was incorporated by an order of President Rajendra Prasad in 1954 on the advice of Jawaharlal Nehru cabinet. Right. So following the abrogation or dilution of this article, this Act of 2019, it came into force and bifurcated the state into union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. So till then, Jammu and Kashmir was a state. After the 2019 presidential order, it became Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and Union Territory of Ladakh, right? So this is having a legislature, and this is having, there is no legislature for Ladakh, right? So do remember this. The instrument of accession which Maharaja Hari Singh, the former monarch of Jammu and Kashmir, signed in 1947, this has given rise to Article 370. And in terms of our draft constitution, as we know, we initially had a draft constitution. In our draft constitution, it was proposed as Article 306A, and this was proposed by a person called as Sir Narasimha Gopal Swami Iyengar. And this temporary provision, it exempts Jammu and Kashmir from the Indian Constitution. And Jammu and Kashmir Constituent Assembly, so we used to have a Constituent Assembly for Jammu and Kashmir, and this was dissolved after creating the state constitution, and this was done on January 25, 1957, and it was done so without endorsing either the abrogation or revision of Article 370. So there was Article 370, and there was a Constitution Assembly for Jammu and Kashmir state. So when this Constituent Assembly was dissolved, it did not take any decision on the future of this Article 370. So it should have told that whether we have to revise this Article 370 or we have to dilute Article 370. So coming to the abrogation of Article 370, so this Article 370, this was diluted. The President has issued a President's rule after the tenure of the governor's rule has ended, right? So in order to abrogate or dilute this Article 370, so the concurrence of the state government is needed. So what was done is, President's rule was imposed first, and then this presidential order was brought about, and there was made a change wherein the clause enables the President issued a presidential order under Article 371 of the Constitution. So what will this particular clause do? It will enable the President to specify the matters which are applicable to Jammu and Kashmir in concurrence with the Jammu and Kashmir government. And this has amended our Article 367. So under Article 371, right, President has issued a presidential order. So our President of India, he has issued a order under Article 371. So what it has done is, this has amended Article 367. So what do we have under Article 367? It contains guidance on how to read or interpret some provisions. So since ours is a lengthy constitution, we have lot of articles and provisions in our constitution. So how to read these provisions or how to interpret these provisions. So this is what is given under Article 367, and this was amended by Article 370 Clause 1. Right. So what happened after this amendment? What was the amendment that was made? The amended article declares that the expression Constituent Assembly of the state in Article 373, it shall be read to mean Legislative Assembly of the state. So if any decision has to be taken by the central government, till then regarding this Article 370, to dissolve this Article 370, if any decision has to be made, the concurrence of Constituent Assembly is needed, and this is according to Article 370 Clause 3. So after whatever amendment is made to Article 367, this Constituent Assembly, this was changed to Legislative Assembly, right? So this Article 373, it provided that Article 370 was to be amended by the concurrence of Constituent Assembly. So however, because of this amendment, it can now be done away by the recommendation of a state legislature. Otherwise, it was not possible earlier. Only after this amendment, this was made possible. That means our government used its power under Article 371 to amend a provision of Constitution, that is Article 367, which again amended Article 373. So I'll get you this point again. So our President has issued a presidential order under Article 371, right? So Article 370 Clause 1, under this, our President has issued a presidential order, and this has amended Article 367 of the Constitution. And according to Article 367 of the Constitution, whatever amendment was made, after this amendment, whatever Constituent Assembly is mentioned in Article 373, this 373 article under this Constituent Assembly, it was replaced by Legislative Assembly of the state, right? So, and this in turn becomes the trigger for the statutory resolution for repeal of Article 370 of the Constitution, right? So, this is what is the background of Article 370. And coming to the impact of dilution of Article 370, if you look at the economic impact on Jammu and Kashmir, right now, whatever decision was taken in 2019 after this presidential order, private investment could be made, right? So earlier private investment was not allowed from the citizens, permanent citizens outside Jammu and Kashmir, but right now private investment is also allowed. So anyone can put private investment over here, land could be bought over here, right? So the land rates would also increase. And then education, coming to educational opportunities, this will be also enhanced after this presidential order of 2019, because more and more educational institutions like IITs, IIMs, such prestigious institutions could be also established in Jammu and Kashmir. And also earlier there was an issue that professors who wanted to teach in Jammu and Kashmir, they could not stay there because it is only for the permanent residents. Their children could not get any admissions in the schools, and also professors were also not so likely to go to Jammu and Kashmir to teach over there. But right now, after this presidential order of 2019, more and more educational opportunities would increase in Jammu and Kashmir. That means more jobs for the students of and youth of Jammu and Kashmir, especially girl education would be also more and more improved. And till now, it did not have right to education, right? So right to education was not present in Jammu and Kashmir till now, and from now on, after this presidential order of 2019, right to education will be also applicable. And coming to right to information act, this was also not applicable to Jammu and Kashmir till 2019, and after this order of 2019, right to information will be also applicable in Jammu and Kashmir. So with this, what will happen? Corruption could also come down, right? So education will be increased, education opportunities would be increased, jobs would be more, right? And when private investment comes, more and more skilled and unskilled opportunities for jobs will also increase. And finally, the economic status of the people would also definitely increase, and they could also sell whatever lands that they have right now. And after opening up of private investment, definitely the cost of this land would also increase. That means more financial gains for the people of Jammu and Kashmir. And when they are financially empowered, youth would not go to things like crime, etc., right? So their mind would not be diverted to crime, so the crime rate would also decrease. According to our National Crime Records Bureau, it has also said that when you have more economic opportunities, when youth has more financial empowerment, whatever crimes that we have in the valley of Jammu and Kashmir, that would also come down, because they are financially empowered through education. They're getting more and more jobs, so they would be attracted to these, and the crime rates would also come down. So this is how there are positive impacts of this dilution of Article 370. And it would also have one more impact, that is, it was a Ranbir penal code. This used to be in Jammu and Kashmir instead of our IPC, Indian Penal Code. And right now, after the presidential order of 2019, this Ranbir penal code, this becomes Indian Penal Code only. So Indian Penal Code would be applicable in Jammu and Kashmir instead of Ranbir Penal Code, right? And also there was a separate flag for Jammu and Kashmir, and instead of that, one nation, one flag would prevail. And all these are the various advantages that we have, or the various positive impacts of the dilution of Article 370. And coming to the negative impacts of the dilution of Article 370, all the residents of Jammu and Kashmir, they are not still completely agreeing to this dilution of this Article 370. So that is one of the negative impact of the dilution of Article 370, and these are the various positive impacts that we have. So you have to elaborate in this way. So you have to write about what is Article 370, what is the background of introduction of Article 370, and then the impact of the dilution of Article 370. So these are the various issues involved in the article that we have in the Hindu today on the dilution of Article 370. So that's all for today for this particular article. Hope you have liked this video. Thank you.